When I was about 12 years old, I used to go visit my aunt and uncle and my great aunt down in Los Angeles. We lived near San Francisco. And they were into, my family wasn't into food, but they were into food. They were into, we'd be having lunch and they'd be talking about what we're having for dinner. They were foodies in the 50s when people weren't foodies. So I got enamored with food with them because they revered it. They took it seriously. And I lived with a family, or stayed with a family in the south of France when I was picking grapes. And the way they ate and the way they drank and the way they lived around food was so impressive to me. It just changed me. And it was at that point where the shift started to happen, where I was thinking about it as a professional career. One thing I always do, people don't realize, is I sweat on high heat. I find that I use a copper pot and I stir it often enough, it won't brown. Well, it was my great aunt Alice and my aunt Jane. They were the cooks. I didn't really pick up a camera with any seriousness until about 20 years ago.
Okay.
My first camera was a 4x5 camera. So I dove right into it.
This is how the magic works, Ross.
I'm capturing it. We got everything.
We're doing it. This is the real thing. Shooting, that's very interesting.
Got it.
I'm always struggling to avoid boredom and also to make money. Those are the two powerful forces that motivate my life. So photography appealed to both of them. It was on one hand, I thought, well, I can do this because it looked easier. It looked easier than it is, of course, with the audacity of youth, although I wasn't young by the time I did it, but I had a certain audacity to go to attack it. And I started getting involved in it, and then I started, every time I had to turn around, it was a $900 meter or some piece of equipment I needed. People expect photography now, for one thing. Most books that are how-to books have some kind of color in them. So a lot of it's expectation. They expect to see pretty pictures of finished food, but I like to include how-to shots, like actual process of cooking, and show the real process, and not clean it up too much. Leave it a little like it is. Leave it really like it is. A little dirtiness here, not dirtiness, but just spill here, spill there. A natural approach to what cooking really is. I'm working on a book now. It hasn't been sold yet, so I don't know if it's going to happen, but It's called A Cook's Idiosyncratic Guide to Food, Drink, Technique, and Tradition.
That's the whole title.
That's the title. And it's a dictionary. It's a kind of dictionary with foods. It's my take on these foods. 10 years from now, I'd like to have done much more photography. I'd like to have written a couple more books at least. It's been said many times, but the central insight to me that I had for cooking was to respect the products, respect the food, treat the food in ways that bring the food out. Don't mask it, disguise it, alter it, let it be itself. And that's a little bit abstract, but if you apply that to your practical everyday cooking, you'll cook better.